Hey guys, this is Tauna. Today we're going to be talking about Wolverine, the best there is. I am so excited for all of these Marvel characters. I absolutely love Marvel. I absolutely love, the cards that they've given them as well. I think they've done a really great job of capturing the flavor of all of these characters. So we're going to be brewing up all of them. Now, a couple things before we get started. Make sure you guys subscribe. We're going to be covering the news. The other day when the new secret layers were announced, I had a video up within 40 minutes going through all of them, summarizing this panel that you couldn't even watch, that was, multiple hours long down to a chunk of 15 minutes or something. So, all of that stuff, make sure you subscribe so that way you can check all that out. And, we're going to be brewing up all of these characters and stuff. And secondly, just please keep the comments civil. I know some people don't like, the fact that they're bringing Marvel characters into, into the whole like magic ecosystem, but there are people who are going to like them. It's going to bring more people into the game. You're going to see them, but you're not going to see them all the time, right? Like, even though there's Doctor Who ones out there and everything, I don't see them all the time. I see just as many magic characters as I see any other universe beyond. Actually, way more magic characters than I see universes beyond ones. So, yeah, I just want to kind of say that before I get started here, because I am insanely hyped about this, and I really hope that you guys are as well, or at least, able to kind of pick up on my hype, and maybe, it will get you a bit hyped as well. All right, so we're going to start with Wolverine best there is, because this is the one that came second in the poll, and personally, I want to brew up Storm, but I'm kind of on the fence on a couple different ways. I want to make a video showing two different ways too. So I'm waiting on my brother to finish up whatever the hell he's brewing for slimes, and then we'll get to that. So we're going to start with Wolverine best there is. Now, if you haven't seen what he actually does, he does double damage, double all damage that Wolverine would deal. And at the beginning of each end step, so keep in mind that's each end step, not your end step, each end step. If Wolverine dealt damage to another creature this turn, put a +1/+1 onto him. You can also pay 1 and a green to regenerate him. So there's a couple different things in here. First of all, we want him dealing damage to creatures on every turn, whether that's going to be through a few different instants and stuff like that, or, fight spells and stuff, or, just blocking or attacking. There's a bunch of different ways we can make this useful. And also, he's basically kind of immortal besides getting exiled or getting deleted with not being able to regenerate. He's going to be able to regenerate constantly, and everything that he deals at the moment is doubled. So, especially once you've got counters on him, that goes away that gets exponentially strong, right? All right. So having a look at the deck that I've crafted here, and I'll put the link to this down in the comments in the description. We've got, I'm going to say that this is $100 brew, right? Like I've got $100 brew minus the secret layer card cost, but the secret layer cards in this are really, really great. So I wanted to make this like, you've bought the secret layer. Here's a deck that you can add on to it for $100. Or, you've proxied the secret layer and you wanted to build a deck around it, which is probably what I'm going to end up doing, because I doubt I'm going to be able to get these. Unfortunately, it's going to go live at like 2 a.m. Australian time, and I just don't have the money for spending $300 on cards to get shipped over here. So starting off with the artifacts, we've got like, your classic kind of ramp artifacts, Soul Ring and Arcane Signet in here. We've got the Talisman. Now, I've also included the Emerald Medallion. This is very important because of the fact that we have a lot of green fight spells. I've built him purely around fight, +1/+1, and he's also going to deal a lot of kind of face damage. You could potentially win with that. So we've got Basilisk Collars to give him Death Touch and Lifelink, because I figured that was insane. Boxing Ring to make it so that when we fight, we're going to also be able to create treasures. Swift Foot Boots to just give him haste and hexproof. I also just like this as well for being able to give us a fight when Wolverine enters, so we can immediately proc him. For the creatures, I've got Fanatic of Ronas here. I wanted to kind of include a couple mana dorks, but I wanted mana dorks that were going to be decently strong. So like Nightshade Dryad is a mana dork, but also has Death Touch. So if we've got cards that are like, target creature deals damage to another creature, he's going to give Death Touch to that. Fanatic of Ronas is just a crazy, crazy mana dork there. Champion of Lampholt is going to make it so we can't get blocked. While that might seem crazy to make it so Wolverine doesn't get blocked, we can then use our fight spells to do fighting to do removal, and then just deal face damage to be able to just, you know, wipe away the board. The Giggling Skitter Spike. Oh, this should go in so many decks. Now, someone commented the other day that I should have kept this within my Zamone deck. I would have, except I don't think Zamone deck is a great one for it. Now, one where we're going to be constantly targeting our creatures and, you know, doing fight spells and stuff. This is great because this can be like a secondary commander, right? If Wolverine's dead and can't come back, or we have other ways to be able to do this, this is going to increase our burn in there. Helena is going to give Helena and Helena is going to give us a whole bunch of +1s. Nayeth is a fight staple because we're going to draw cards whenever we fight or become blocked. Brash Taunter. We can use this to use our fight spells on Wolverine to fight the Brash Taunter to deal damage directly to someone's face if they've got like too many blockers or whatever. Seedborn Muse to untap because I figured, you know, we attack, we can then untap, and then we can use him to block. Strong, so we've got a couple different enraged characters in here. So Strong's going to get +3s and rad counters. Silverclad Ferricidons, making it so that we sacrifice. So we can use our fight spells for this, right? Because they get dealt damage when they fight. So that's going to proc it and make opponents get removal, and then ranging Raptors to give us some ramp if we want to. Target it with a fight spell, target something else, or get Wolverine to fight it or whatever. Forgotten Ancient is going to get a whole bunch of +1s that we can then also move on to Wolverine to just make him bigger. So we're going to be able to win with just big Wolverine too. A whole bunch of +1 staples in here for enchantments. So Stocking the Pantries, one of my new favorites, to get us a whole bunch of card draw. Hardened Scales, getting us additional +1s. Same with Branching Evolution. We've got more untap with Quest of Renewal. Garruk's Uprising to give us Trample, because I think Trample is important too. One that I put in here that I'm not sure about is Invasion Plans, but I figured it was going to be great because we can have Wolverine attack, choose blockers, and then have Trample on top of that, right? Which is really fun. Gimli's Reckless gives us additional haste, as well as we can fight if we attack with creatures that are power 8 or greater. Sorry, creatures with total power. So add up all your power, etc. Rite of Passage is one of the secret layers that's great in here too, as well as, like, you know, the Ozolith is in here too because it's crazy in this deck. Bonkers. Berserker as well. Crazy, especially because of the fact that you can then regenerate on top of it. So as for our instants, I put a lot of like instant, first of all, some protection and removal for stuff. So like Nature's Claims removal. Gift of the Viper is going to give us some +1s reach and death touch, which is important to make it so that our Wolverine can block flyers too. And then we've got instant fights. So Ancient Animus, Duel for Dominance, Pit Fight, Pounce, Prize Fight, Ram Through, right? Like, we don't want necessarily the ones that are just creature deals damage. They're not too bad, but I think that creature fights is just more fun, especially for Wolverine. Yeah, and then we've got more kind of protection down here too. And then we've got a couple MDFs too. So there's some really nice ones, especially for like fight spells. So Kalni Ambush here is fight on one side, an expensive fight, don't get me wrong. But then on the other side, we've got a land. Return of the Wild Speakers is just give us card draw, as well as the fact that Wolverine is not a human. He is a mutant berserker hero. If you see up here, mutant berserker hero. So he is technically going to be able to get the card draw from us and get the +3s here too. Bolt Bend is just a great kind of diversion and signature slam to give us more +1s, as well as then just deal damage. And then then each modified creature you control deals damage to target creature you don't control. That's really fun. Lands, you know, just typical kind of lands. I didn't want to go too heavy into the lands. We've got, you know, 36 lands, I think, in total, including the MDCs. And then that's $9.20 in there. There's obviously more lands you can add in here that are better, but I didn't want to go too expensive with the lands. We've got Domri in here because one, his fight, two, he gives us additional mana. And then the sorceries, we've got a few different sorceries in here that are fight as well. So Bushwhack gives us, you know, the two options. Do we want to land or do we want to fight? Beastie Beatdown, potentially we get to put 2 +1s onto Wolverine, but otherwise we just get to fight. Go for Blood, fight, but also cycling. And then Bridgeworks battle, fight, +2/+2, then fight. And on the other side, we've got a land, Challenger's Ignition. Technically, Wolverine, target creature you control deals damage equal to its power. So Wolverine would be dealing that damage, so that he gets a proc. Rishtar's Expertise to get card draw, and then also be able to play something for free, probably a fight spell. And then Azuri's Predation as a board wipe. I wanted a board wipe, right, that kind of matched Wolverine. So the two board wipes we've got is Chandler's Ignition, which is, I kind of picture it as Wolverine getting the claws out, going through and essentially like, you know, just wiping out the whole board. And then Azuri's Predation is him calling in all of his wolf friends, like you can see in the Rhythm of the Wild, where it's themed around Wolverine going back and kind of, you know, seeing his first true family with his wolf friends. And originally I'm thinking of that, like him calling in all of these beasts to kind of fight for him. Obviously, you know, they're Phyrexian beasts, they don't exactly match, but like it would be better if it was probably wolves or something, but still kind of matches it really well. So yeah, that's essentially it. Like, you know, because we've got a lot of instant fight spells, we're going to be able to use them to be able to just, you know, fight each turn. So you could potentially get like in a turn cycle, you could get 4+1s onto Wolverine. And then in it, like on top of that, because of the fact that we've got the enchantments here, we're getting additional value from that kind of stuff. Bonds of Mortality is important here too, because it's going to make it so that creatures your opponents control lose hexproof and indestructible. That means that, you know, you pay the green, they lose it. Then you use a fight spell, take out that creature that they thought was going to be hexproof and indestructible, and boom. It's kind of like a budget version of Shadow Spear, right? Really cool. Obviously, you know, you still have to pay ward, unfortunately, but 1 and a green just to draw a card isn't too bad. And you don't need to sack this to do... Bonds of Mortality is really good. I really love that spell. And it's only 18 cents. Really great. Yeah, I'd love to hear from you guys as to what you're kind of brewing up for these decks, or do you absolutely hate the fact that Wolverine's going to be in the Magic multiverse? I guess, you know, a new reason, like, what is it, MCU, like it's the MCU now magic card universe, I guess. Let me know what you guys think. I hope you guys had a great day, and goodbye.